37% approval rating. His numbers are absolutely collapsing, y'all. They're collapsing.
As Donald Trump and Elon Musk are running roughshod over our government and our country, Donald Trump's poll numbers are starting to plummet. And Kyle Kulinski covered all of this on his show. I want to share my thoughts on this as well. Let's check this out together.
So this is some wild breaking news for you guys. We are seeing an absolute, utter poll implosion for Donald Trump right now, and Elon Musk. And this is something that we haven't seen arguably ever. Guys, this is still like month 2 of the Trump presidency. He should still be in his honeymoon phase, right? When you look at Joe Biden, in his honeymoon phase, in the polling, he was plus 17. Trump at his best was like plus 4. And then now, as you're about to see, he's already massively underwater. So let me walk you through this here. First of all, let's talk about the economy. This was the one bright spot in Trump's first term in office. The polling on his economic performance was always above water and always pretty good, right? Now, I would contend it shouldn't have been. I think he was horrible when it comes to the economy. We lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs under him in his first term. His biggest accomplishment was a massive tax cut for the wealthy and corporations. So I don't think he should have been viewed that way, but the polling showed he was viewed that way. Okay, well, what's it like this time around? You ready? Here's his approval number on the economy. 39%. The disapproval is 51%. This is a new low for him. This is a new low. In other words, people are looking at the tariffs. They're looking at the indecisiveness. They're looking at what's happening with the market. They're looking at Elon Musk firing anywhere from 100,000 to 250,000 federal government workers, and they're going, holy shit, bro, this is chaos. We don't like this. What the fuck is going on? That is a catastrophically low number. Month 2, we're in. He's supposed to be there for 4 years. All right, ready? I told you, it's going to be, when all said and done, it's going to be like George W. Bush or Dick Cheney numbers. He's going to be 20-something%. He's already getting close. All right, more. Ready? Trump's approval on foreign policy. Well, you think, okay, he was bad on the economy, but he'll be better in some other area. He'll be okay on foreign policy, right? He's peace through strength. He's doing that whole bit, right? Ready for this? Approval rating, 37%. Well, what do you know? It turns out Americans don't like it when you warmonger with Canada and demand that they become the 51st state. You warmonger with Greenland and demand that they become part of the U.S. You warmonger with Panama and draft up literal invasion plans as they did last week. You say we're going to take Gaza and own Gaza and build hotels and casinos on the beaches and ethnically cleanse the area. You brag about bombing Somalia as Trump did a couple weeks ago. You try to coup Venezuela as he did in the first term and Marco Rubio is planning again for the second term. You give yourself the ability to illegally invade Mexico by declaring that the drug cartels are terrorist organizations, which allows you to airstrike them or allows you to put boots on the ground. Turns out when Americans look at a warmonger, they go, we really don't fucking like warmongers. That's what happened with Dick Cheney. That's what happened with George W. Bush. Trump used to beat up on Dick Cheney and George W. Bush. He beat up on Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris and called them warmongers. And then he went on to be the biggest warmonger of all of them. 37% approval rating. His numbers are absolutely collapsing, y'all. They're collapsing. All right, more. Ready? Trump's been talking about this nonstop. He's already said it like 8 times since he's been in office. Here's the poll question from Ipsos. The U.S. should make Canada the 51st state because the two countries are already so intertwined. So I need you to understand, they phrase that in a way to be kind to Trump. They phrase that in a way to be like, to almost like prod people in the direction of agreeing with Trump. Ready for this? Only 17% of Americans agree that Canada should be the 51st state. Only 17%. And again, he won't shut the fuck up about it. He won't shut the fuck up about it. Oh my God. And then, I mean, we're looking at numbers. The Republicans passed a bill that slashes Medicaid $880 billion. That got through the House. It didn't get through the Senate yet. That polls at 7%. And this is what Trump is doing. This is what Trump is doing.
And these are excellent points by Kyle Kulinski. With the economy, we have the Republicans in Congress going on TV, and also the right-wing pundits who are trying to logic pretzel this into making sense to people where they're saying, the stock market, most people aren't in the stock market, so that doesn't really matter. That was not something that they were saying 6 months ago. It was all about the stock market to them. So they don't really believe, most people aren't in the stock market, so it doesn't matter. They don't believe that. And they're trying to say, we need to break things because everything was so damaged. We need to break it before it can actually be fixed. People don't want that. People aren't in favor. They're like, how long is this breaking period going to take? And in terms of Canada, absolutely no one was saying we need to start a trade war with Canada. We need to make the Canada the 51st state. And that's the amazing ability that Donald Trump has, in my opinion, is that he creates reality. All the MAGA people, none of them, they weren't thinking anything about Canada. Canada was our ally and everything was fine with that. And now all of a sudden, because Trump has said they should be the 51st state or we should have these tariffs, all of MAGA is in favor of that now, or much of MAGA is in favor of that, just because Donald Trump said it. It's a cult. Everybody knows.
Okay. I'm telling you, total collapse. More. Ready? Net favorable numbers from Ipsos. Trump is now -9. -9 at a time when Joe Biden was like +15. Trump is -9. JD Vance -10. Elon Musk -21. 21 points underwater. Maybe he should stop Zig Heiling all over the place. How about that? Maybe he should stop slashing pediatric cancer research. How about that? All right, more. This one's from Quinnipiac and CNN. 60% of Americans disapprove of Musk and Doge and how they're handling federal workers. 54% say Musk and Doge are hurting the country. 62% say the cuts are going too far. And then finally, I'll give you this one. Axios reported on this. There's a new Michigan swing voter focus group, and they talked to people who voted for Trump. Ready? 10 of 13 participants who voted for Trump said what they're seeing isn't what they thought they were voting for, and they're worried Trump's approach may hurt their pocketbooks. 10 out of 13. Here's some words that these Trump voters in Michigan used to describe Trump today. Erratic, frightening, disruptive, dictator. We have never seen an implosion like this before. This is legendary. This is a collapse of epic proportions. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this again. And I also don't know if this presidency can last 4 years at the rate that it's going. You're talking about pitchforks in the street, man. You're talking about just widespread unrest. And then, of course, Trump would try to declare martial law, and this would be a constitutional crisis, yet another constitutional crisis. We are in uncharted territory. But what's for sure is, this guy is now despised. And actually, I should say these guys, because that includes Elon Musk as well.
I agree with much of what Kyle Kulinski is saying here. I don't know about people being in the streets. I think it's possible that we could have something like the summer of, was it 2020 when the Black Lives Matter protests were happening? I think we could have something like that again this summer, because now you're going to have, federal workers that have lost their jobs. Now you're going to have people affected by the tariffs. So it's not going to be just one ethnic group. This would be, all kinds of people that will be affected by these job cuts. And if they get into Social Security and Medicare, like people fear they will, then you're going to have all kinds of people in the streets, I imagine. We'll have to see what happens, but I don't see any way that you get to the end of this 4 years without people, the majority of people, and even some of the MAGA people. I think there's still lots and lots of MAGA, the vast majority of MAGA who are on board with Trump, and they're going to say, I don't believe polls, polls are fake, blah, 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 all of that. But some of the MAGA people, it's already happening where they're losing their jobs, federal workers and people like that. And of course, they're saying, well, I thought it would just be the lazy people that would lose their jobs, not me. And it was beyond predictable that there would be people who voted for Trump who were going to lose their job, and then they're going to be outraged and shocked. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with Kyle Kulinski about all of this? Do you think he's right about these poll numbers? Do you think we're going to start to see real unrest? As I say, once the weather is nice and warm across the country, I think that's when you might start to see real mass protests. But let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. This is Chris on Culture, and I will see you in the next video.